Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to cover Microsoft Bookings, and we're going to actually cover it in two parts. So this is the first part, and it's going to cover the Microsoft Bookings Book With Me page. But before we begin, I want to encourage you all to subscribe to this channel and like any videos that you see. Also click the notification bell to get notification messages of when a new video is posted, because one of the things that we know about YouTube is that sometimes videos get buried below your subscription feed. So this way you get a nice notification when new content arrives. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about why I started this YouTube channel. And the reason why I started it was because I felt like in education we could work simpler. And in education, we tend to make things a little bit more complex. So with Microsoft Bookings, it really helps teachers, or I guess like counselors who need to meet with their students, actually easy way to coordinate it. It also would help like if you're like an administrator and you need to meet with students, or even if you're an administrator and you need to meet with staff, let's say schedule observations. Well, you can create a page under the Book With Me feature of Microsoft 365. And people can click on it and book appointments with you. And they can't book appointments when you have things already scheduled in your calendar. So it works around your calendar. And that is true if you place a lunch, the typical time you place a lunch in your calendar, it won't let people schedule these times and meetings with you during your scheduled lunch. So in a future video, we're going to cover Microsoft Bookings pages, which is a little separate than the Book With Me feature that we're covering today. And that will allow teachers to set up parent-teacher conferences through a specific page with specific dates and time slots. So that's a whole separate thing than Bookings With Me or Book With Me, but we'll be covering that later. But for right now, we're going to focus on how people can book appointments with you and make it a really simple process, which avoids back and forth through email and clogging your inbox. So let's go ahead and look at that. So today we're going to look at Microsoft Bookings, the Book With Me page. And it's important to know that this Bookings feature, the Book Me page, is a little bit different than Microsoft Bookings entirely. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the My Bookings page, and then in a future video, we will explore how you could use the actual Microsoft Bookings pages. So Microsoft Bookings is essentially like a profile page you would see on like Facebook. So it gives you a front-facing page for your name and the different appointments that people can book. There are two types. There's a private booking, which nobody would see in this profile. You would have to give them the direct link to this booking page for them to see it, okay? But public is you could give anybody your Book With Me page you could click the share button here and access this and choose from the different appointments that you could have under public for them to schedule it with you. The public ones, as I just said, the public ones show up all the time. A really cool feature about this is that when you go down the share, you can click add to email signature. And when you do that, Microsoft Outlook will automatically append this page's URL to all your email signatures. So if somebody emails you saying, hey, Mr. So-and-so, I need to schedule an appointment with you, you can say, okay, just use this link in my signature when you reply, and they can use that link to schedule what they need. There are different components of an actual booking itself. You can change the title and the description, change how it shows in your calendar with your calendar category, and that can be colored so it stands out to you. The location, and it could even be set up to be online. That's especially good if you're trying to do this with parents. It will automatically generate the meeting link for you, so that way you don't have to generate that link or give them a kind of an unsecure link, which would be one that you use all the time, like a code you'd use all the time. This is a specific link for that specific appointment. Then you can adjust the length of the meeting. You can choose again whether it's private or public, and there's some really cool advanced options that are pretty exciting that we'll go over. So let's go ahead and create a page, and then I'll show you how that works. When you first set this up, you're going to want to go to your apps panel, and then you're going to want to go down to your bookings page, which is right here. If you're in Outlook or something like that, like for example, I'm in Outlook here, there is this B icon, the bookings, but if you don't have anything set up, it gets kind of confusing. So I would go to the menu at the top instead and start off in bookings this way. Once you get things set up, it's going to be certainly easier for you to use that quick access icon on this shortcut bar in Outlook. So what it does is it opens up this page here, which is kind of holds our bookings pages, again, which I'll cover in a different segment. But we're going to just look at our bookings page. So we're going to go to this button here that says go to booking page. Now you'll see here that I don't have anything set up yet, but we're going to do two types of appointments here. In this case, I'm going to say that I'm a counselor. Okay, so maybe, again, what I would like to do is just have a link at the bottom of my signature that allows students to book an appointment with me. So I'm going to click the plus sign next to public. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a title for this page that students could create an appointment with me for. So I'm going to add a title that's going to say student appointments. And then for category, I want it to stand out in my calendar. So I already have a calendar calendar category called student conference, but you can always make one by clicking new category, typing the name and choosing the color that you want that appointment to appear in your calendar. I'm going to type in a description here so students understand what to do with this. So then it says location. A lot of times people just put their address in. What I would say is the best practice might be next to student appointments is to put your room number. I'm going to say my room number is 2311. Here you can put actually the school's physical address. The next thing is if you're using this for in-person, I would uncheck the Teams meeting because obviously this would be like an in-person meeting. So you want to remove that. But again, the nice feature of this is if, let's say you were to use this for parent-teacher conferences, if you toggle that box, they'll get an invite with a link specific to that meeting. So it's more secure than you just creating a code for anyone to use. They're getting a link specific to that meeting, which is really good for parent conferences because that way you don't have the possibility of parents entering your conference when you're talking to another parent because they're hosted off the same link. You can choose the default length of the time slot that they can book. So we could choose custom. Maybe you want it like 15 minutes. It was an option there. But if it's a different time, maybe you want it like 20 minutes. You can type in 20 minutes. Now next, it gives you the option of public or private. Okay, so if you want to do a public meeting, which is that it's listed on your My Bookings page right here, you can choose public and it'll list it here. But again, if it's private, you have to supply them the link to that particular page so that they can schedule it. But for our purposes, I want it to be public because I just want to, at the bottom of my email signature, have this page listed that students can go in to book their appointments with. Okay, so now we're moving down. We can use my regular meeting hours, and this is going to mold around your calendar. So if you have appointments in there, students aren't going to be able to book with you. But you might be wondering, well, what are my regular meeting hours? Well, if you click this link, see my regular meeting hours, it launches Outlook, and you can go into when your work week is. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then you can choose the time you start school. So if I were to start school at, let's say, like 7:25, I could end my day at, let's say my school day ends at 2:18 p.m. I can punch those in. And then you just, in fact, click save. And it will take whatever you set inside your Outlook calendar as the times that you're available for meetings. So then you can go down to advanced options, and there's a few things that you can do. You can set a buffer between the meetings. So maybe you want like 15 or 30 minutes or an hour between each meeting, which is probably a good idea. You can put 1 hour, and then that way it prevents back-to-back appointments. You can do a buffer after the meeting too. So maybe you want 10 minutes after a student schedules a meeting. So those are options for you. And you can see how that looks because they give you a nice little preview image. You can change the start time to different intervals. You can also set a minimum lead time. So I would say, probably as somebody who works with students, that I would not want them to make an appointment the day of, because that might mess with my calendar and what I have planned. So I might say, hey, you got to at least schedule a day out. And then you can limit to how far out they can schedule appointments for. For me, I would probably want the maximum of 30 days. So if they try to schedule 2 months out, they won't be able to. But they can schedule within 30 days with this setting, as long as they schedule a day in advance. Once that's all done, we can click save, and you'll see that under the public now, that this now appears for them. So next, what we can do is we can add our public booking page to our email signature. So to do that, we can click on the share button below, and we can click add to email signature. We can toggle the box that says include a link to my bookings page. Also, you could even create a new signature. Yep, you could create a new signature here if you wanted it to be a separate signature that you chose when composing emails. So if you had an email signature called student signature, you could select that on the emails that you want to reply, so it just shows them this link. That's up to you. In any event, you want to check the box that says include a link. It previews what it will look like. And any time when you do your signature, you want to make sure that you choose the signature for your new messages and your replies. So always make sure that for new messages, you have the signature you want for your new messages. And then for your replies or forwards, you have the email signature you want for that. So you'll click save. And now we're going to look at this from the student perspective. So I just got an email from a student named Sean Hunter who says that I need to book an appointment with you. So I can click reply, and you'll notice below my signature now, it appears to book a time to meet with me. I can just reply back, click the link in my signature, and then I'll click send. And then that student then can go ahead and click the link in my signature to schedule it. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that would look like from their end. So here we go. I have Sean Hunter's email open. I can click book to meet with me, and then it comes up with this really nice page here that allows them to choose the meeting type, the date, and the time that they can meet with me. And then they can type in the notes any information to include. And in fact, you may want to, when you reply to them, say, hey, in the notes, tell me what you need to meet for. And then they click book, and you will see that they then get a confirmation email with that appointment. And you as well get a confirmation with that appointment as well. And then when you go to your calendar, you will see that it's colored to the color that you choose and the category, and it lists the student's name. Now, another nice thing is, let's say something happens that day where you can't meet because let's say that you were sick or something like that. If you click cancel, the student will get a notification that you canceled the meeting. So that way you don't have to email each individual student, they just get a cancellation notice. And with that, you can type in the reason why you're canceling or further instructions for them, and they'll get that in their email. And as you see here, I got an email in Sean Hunter's email that says event canceled. And then you'll notice here in my message, it says I'm feeling sick today. So to edit your bookings page, you can always go to the hamburger menu at the top, and then you can go down to bookings, and you can click go to booking page, and then you can add and remove items from this. Now, if this were a private booking, they wouldn't be able to see it. But if you go to this here, and it would appear as the same tile below, you could click copy link, and you could share that link with whatever appointment type you had down there. So I think this will help anyone out there, especially teachers, to be able to better manage their calendar and to make things more efficient and to work simpler so that you don't have to rely on antiquated business processes and educational processes to get things done. In a future podcast, I will go ahead and I will demonstrate how to use bookings pages themselves, which are kind of independent pages that you can use to coordinate events like parent-teacher conferences, which are more in a narrower window. So we have that to look forward to. I also have some other great podcast episodes where we'll dive into a little bit about SharePoint and managing curriculum, and making it more accessible to teachers and all that. So I appreciate you all, and I'll see you next time.